Hi, my name is Dov Lesel, and I'm here to talk to you today about IRAs, Roth IRAs, and 401k plans. What all of these have in common is that you invest money in these plans and you either defer your taxes or in some cases they are completely tax exempt. I will try to go through these and explain the differences to you. As a disclaimer, I want to mention that the purpose of this talk is not to give you investment advice. It is simply to educate you on what your available options are. An IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. This is something that anyone working can open, and in many cases, you can open one for your spouse if your spouse is not working or not able to open an IRA for themselves. The IRA comes in several different types. Each one has limits both on how much you can put into the IRA in any given year, as well as limits on whether the IRA is deductible or not. So your basic IRA in the year 2020, you can invest up to $6,000. If you are over 50, you can invest up to $7,000. You can do this as an individual. You can open an IRA at a bank or at a mutual fund company like Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab. Once again, none of these companies are sponsors of this program. I simply use them because we have money in each, and these are examples of the places that will allow you to open IRAs. Once you invest the money, the IRA must stay invested with a few exceptions until you are 59 and a half. If you take the money out before then, there's a substantial penalty. Afterwards, you can take out the money penalty-free, but depending on how you invested the money, you will have to pay taxes at the time you remove your money. IRAs also require that once you reach, again, at this time, age 72, you need to start withdrawing money from your IRA and 401k. Again, the rules can change over time, but for both of these, both the IRA and the 401k, once you reach the required time of withdrawing money, there exists a required minimum distribution that you must make every year. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What you want to know is why invest and how. So as I mentioned, you can open up an IRA account at banks or financial institutions, stock brokerages, etc. And every year you can deposit a certain amount of money. For a 401k, that amount is $19,500 for the year 2020. If you're over 50, I believe it's now $26,000. These numbers change, so you always must check with either the government website or a licensed professional to make sure that you have the correct amounts. The IRA is something you can deposit money into directly from your checking account or via check. On the other hand, the 401k is something that can only be used through your employment. Most employers will set up a 401k that can be accessed by their employees, and the money is taken out from your salary directly. In some cases, your company will offer a matching amount, not maybe for the full amount, but up to a certain percent. You should, as much as possible, at a minimum, always take advantage of this employer match. It can be sometimes as much as $1 for every dollar you put in, or 50 cents for every dollar you put in, up to perhaps 3% of your salary, maybe more, maybe less. But it's, in a sense, free money. The money that goes into the 401k, just like an IRA, its purpose is to grow over time unaffected by taxes. This allows it to compound much faster than an account not in an IRA or 401, because you do not have to pay taxes on the income stream generated by your investments. IRAs can be tax deductible. 401k plans are always tax deductible. That means the money that you are putting in is before tax money. The difference between before tax money and after tax money is that after tax money, you have already paid taxes on the amount you're putting in. So for example, if you decide to put in $100 per paycheck every 2 weeks into a 401k plan, because it's before taxes, even if your combined tax rate is 33%, what you will find is you will have $100 in your 401k plan extra for that period of time, but your paycheck will only go down by maybe $66 or $67, because the difference is what you would otherwise have to pay in taxes. Now, IRAs are only deductible if you make less than a certain amount every year. This amount depends on whether you are single, whether you are married, and how you file your taxes. These income limitations should be checked with the government or your financial advisor so that you know how much you can, up to what income you can deduct your IRA. There's another form of IRA called the Roth IRA. The beauty of a Roth IRA is that once the money is in there and grows, when you take it out, again, you can only take it out after you reach a certain age. When you take it out, it is completely tax-free. On the flip side, however, you do not get to deduct it up front. However, these days we are living in a low-tax environment. The tax rate may go up in 10 or 20 or 30 years when you are ready to retire. Plus, if all goes well for you, you will also hopefully have a much greater income and greater wealth 10, 20, 30 years from now, which means you will be in a higher tax bracket. So investing in a Roth IRA today may be a wonderful thing for you. Once again, you may want to check with a tax professional. But what I am suggesting is that you look at the alternative, which is instead of being able to deduct today, you can instead put the money in after you pay taxes on it today, and forever that money will grow tax exempt. In addition, at least under present law, you will not have to start taking money out of your Roth IRA when you reach a certain age, which is the rule for the traditional IRA. In addition, there is a SEP IRA, which is actually a simplified employee pension plan, but it is part of the IRA system. It allows you to put in from your income a certain percent up to a certain maximum. At present, you can deposit up to 25% of your earnings into a SEP IRA, or a maximum of approximately $56,000 or $57,000 a year. This is an excellent vehicle for anyone who is self-employed, which includes anyone in the gig economy. Again, for all of these, to get more information on these various investments, to get more information on each of these investments, whether it's the IRA, the SEP IRA, the Roth IRA, or the 401k plan, you need to check every year because the numbers change. The concepts, however, have remained relatively stable for many years. It is a great way to grow your money tax exempt or tax deferred for a long period of time. And over time, by not having to pay taxes annually on that income, it allows your investment to grow much faster. Thank you.